Chaldea Boys Collection. The event where the attractive male servants of Chaldea would get together under Da Vinci's orders and would do photo shoots with each other in certain themes. Originally, it was supposed to be a one-time thing in which it was meant to raise money for operations in Chaldea. However, after many successes from the first Chaldea Boys collections in which not only it raised enough money for Chaldea to fund their operations, but the many female staff of Chaldea adored the photos that came out from the event and wanted more, Chaldea's staff decided to continue the event and made it a yearly event. Thus, Chaldea Boys Collection would be hosted every year on March, because March was the month that it started. And this was going to be an event Shirou was never going to forget. Shirou in the cafeteria, minding his own business as he was cleaning up the plates after the daily lunch rush hour. Phew. As usual, today is quite a rush, Shirou thought as he was rinsing a dirty plate under a running faucet. He then placed the rinsed plate onto a drying rack and went on to another dirty plate. As Shirou was in the pattern of washing and drying dirty dishes, it was then Da Vinci came into the empty cafeteria. Soon, Shirou noticed her as he was washing the dishes. "Hey there, Da Vinci." Da Vinci let out a smile. "Hey there, Shirou, how are you doing today?" "HM? Oh, I'm doing fine." "Why?" "Well, let's just say I have a favor to ask for you." Shirou let out a small sigh. "What is it? Is it some weird experiment that you want me to partake? Or you want me to test out a weird theory that's been in your head for quite a while? Or you want me to test out one of your created prototype mystic codes?" Da Vinci let out a chuckle. "Relax, it's not something like those. Rather, I need you to go to an event here actually." "An event? What do you mean by that? Let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of the event known as Chaldea Boys Collection?" Shirou shook his head in reply. "No. I never heard of an event like that before." "Why?" "Well, Chaldea Boys Collection is an event where the attractive male servants of Chaldea would get together and would do a photo shoot together in the hopes of raising money. What would usually happen is that the servants would be grouped up together and they would pose under a certain theme." "I see. Yeah. The funny thing is that originally, the event was supposed to be a one-time thing in order to raise funds for Chaldea to continue their operations. However, because of its raising popularity among the female staff, they wanted more. Thus, Chaldea Boys Collection became a yearly thing." Shirou was a little shocked after hearing Da Vinci's words. "Wow. It's that popular?" Da Vinci let out a chuckle. "You have no idea, Shirou. Every year after the photo shoot ends, nearly all of the female staff and some female servants of Chaldea would look at the taken photos and would do, well, many things." At that moment, there was a moment of awkward silence in the air as Shirou immediately knew what she was referring to. "Don't say any more. I do not want to know." "Good. Same for me. Anyways, I want you to join this year's Chaldea Boys Collection." "Me? But why though?" Da Vinci sighed again. "Are you kidding me? You literally are every woman's dream. You can cook, clean, fix broken things, take care of kids and pets, and can fight. And you have the looks of a K-pop star while having a nice body. I swear, I wouldn't be surprised if you have a fan club right now, because you clearly are every woman's dream man." Shirou was stunned by Da Vinci's words for a moment before continuing the conversation. Is that so?" "Yes. Anyways, I figured that you might be a great addition to the event, so I already added you in." Shirou was a little stunned but let out a small sigh as he kind of expected Da Vinci to pull this off. "Really?" "Yeah. And you can't be late. Otherwise, the women who are looking forward to seeing you in this would be pissed off. Anyways, be sure to arrive at this room. Bye." Da Vinci said as she soon left the cafeteria, leaving Shirou alone along with the flyer she left behind. Shirou then picked up the flyer Da Vinci left behind and read it. As Shirou was reading the flyer, a thought came into his mind. Geez, Da Vinci is like Mom, she's always thinking of some crazy plan for me to enjoy. Alright. Here's the room Da Vinci told me to go to. Shirou thought as he looked at the room in front of him, which was the theater. As he got into the room, he was amazed with the number of male servants that were in the room. Some were even ones he recognized already. For example, he saw Emiya and Arthur in corners of the theater. Wow! The many number of attractive male servants here, I can see why it's a hit among the female staff of Chaldea and some female servants as well. It was then that Shirou felt someone touching him on the shoulder. As he turned around to see who it was Ku Chulain, who was looking at him with a grin on his face. "Hey there, kid. Glad for you to join the party here." Ku greeted. "Hey there, Ku. I take it that you're a part of this too?" Shirou asked. Ku let out a sigh. "Yeah. Every year, this event always happens, and me and my counterparts would end up taking photos of ourselves for the women around here. And every year, we would have to wear either a costume or something else and pose for the cameras." "I see. Just how did you get yourself into this?" "Well, let's just say that Da Vinci made a pull behind our backs, and well, the rest is history. Speaking of which, how did you get yourself roped into this?" "Well, Da Vinci apparently signed me up for this behind my back, because she thinks I'm a great addition to the event itself." "Of course. You're practically every woman's dream husband. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a fan club about you behind your back. Of course, the King of Knights and her counterparts seems to not let that happen," Ku jokingly said. Shirou didn't say anything but let out a sigh. "Anyways, you might want to be careful, because he's here," Ku said as he pointed to a corner. Shirou then looked at where Ku was pointing out, and it was Archer Gilgamesh, who looked at Shirou with hatred on his face. "Oh. I can see that," Shirou replied. "Yeah. You definitely want to stay away from him immediately." Agreed. Soon, Da Vinci appeared on the front of the stage, holding a mic in her hands. "Alright everyone. May I have all of your attention here please?" she yelled into the mic. Soon, everyone in the theater turned their attention to Da Vinci. "Okay. You know what today is. And in case if any of you don't know what today is the yearly Chaldea Boys Collection event. And as usual, all of you will be paired up into groups on a certain theme and I'll be taking the photos. Now, everyone will come up to the box and your groups will be decided based on the numbers you have." Da Vinci explained as she then made a box appear out of nowhere on the stage. Everyone went up to the stage where the box was and pulled out their piece of paper with a number on them. As they did, they looked at the number the piece of paper showed and showed it to Da Vinci so she can write down who belonged to which group. "It seems that I've got number 9, I wonder who's in my group and what theme we're doing," Shirou thought as he looked at his piece of paper. He then showed his piece of paper to Da Vinci, in which Da Vinci wrote down his number. Soon, everyone got their number checked and got off the stage. "Alright. Now then, let's see who you are being paired up with." As Da Vinci said that, she then began to call out the groups one by one. Finally, Da Vinci was on the last group, and Shirou let out a sigh of relief as he didn't have to wait any longer. Little did Shirou know that the group he was going to end up with was going to be unexpected. Alright. Group 9 consists of Shirou, Ku, Arthur, Gilgamesh, and Emiya. And the theme is royalty on a throne. Da Vinci yelled. Shirou, Emiya, Ku, Arthur, and Archer Gilgamesh were in disbelief with what they just heard. Shirou and Emiya mentally groaned as they realized they were paired up with their worst enemy. Archer Gilgamesh was mad that he was paired with the Fakers. Ku let out a sigh of despair as he knows this was not going to end well, and Arthur was nervous over the fact that he was in a group that was going to explode. In conclusion, they all had one thought in mind. You've got to be kidding me. I've got to be paired up with him/them? Shirou let out a small sigh at his current predicament, which was being in a photo shoot with the king of heroes of all people. Luckily, he wasn't alone as he had Ku, Emiya, and Arthur with him. Still though, he felt like he was in for a tough ride. TCH. This is outrageous. Why do I have to be with 2 Fakers and a dog? Gilgamesh yelled. And there comes the insults. Shirou thought as he sighed inwardly. It was clear that the King of Heroes was in a bad mood. Don't ask me, blame Da Vinci for this matchup, Emiya replied. Still though. Why do I have to be paired up with you mongrels? I deserve someone better than this. Hey! Quit calling us mongrels. And a dog in my case. Ku yelled. Guys, will both of you quit it with the yelling? We've got costumes to wear, Arthur said as he was getting into his costume, which was just his armor. Right now, Shirou, Emiya, Ku, Arthur, and Gilgamesh were in the dressing room, changing into their costumes, or to be more precise, Shirou, Emiya, Ku were changing into their costumes while Arthur and Gilgamesh watched. To be fair, they're already royalty. Still though, I can't believe that the theme we're doing is royalty, Shirou said. Yeah. To be quite frank with you, I'm actually wondering what it feels like to be a king, Ku said as he was putting on his outfit. Enjoy it while it lasts, mongrels. After all, there is only one true king here, and that is me, the strongest of all kings, Gilgamesh said arrogantly. And said, strongest of all kings, got his ass kicked and arm cut off by my younger self, who happens to possess a reality marble, a noble phantasm that surpasses your greatest treasure, and a selection of weapons that you don't even have, Emiya said with a smirk on his face. Ku let out a laugh. Ha! Nice one, he said after hearing Emiya's remark, making Gilgamesh mad. Why you? Will all of you quit it? Shirou said as he finally got on his costume. Right now, Shirou was wearing a red and black Jinbori-style haori, a traditional Uminori hakama with shin guards which had cloth straps that were used to tie the shin guards to the lower leg, a collar shirt under his kimono, and a cravat tied around his collar. All of us needs to be ready for the photo shoot, so unless all of you want to deal with a bunch of angry women, get dressed. For a moment, Emiya, Arthur, Ku, and Gilgamesh thought about Shirou's words, and realized that he was right. He's right. Any more stalling, and we're screwed, Ku said. Exactly, Emiya said. I agree, Arthur said. TCH. While it doesn't matter for me, the mongrel does make a good point for once, Gilgamesh said. Shirou let out a sigh. Good. Now let's hurry up. Da Vinci should be done with the background for our scenario. Soon, Emiya and Ku got into their costumes for the photo shoot. The costume Emiya wearing was a medieval version of his usual outfit in which his black body armor looked more like a suit of armor. He still retained his red shroud, although he was also wearing a red cape as well. Not only that, but he also had silver armor around his legs as well. Meanwhile, the outfit Ku was wearing looked like a long, silver-buttoned blue coat with 3 separated coattails. Underneath the coat, he was wearing a navy blue ascot wrapped around his neck, which hangs over a black, sleeveless vest that reveals his well-toned arms and shoulders. He was also wearing tan, fingerless gloves, a brown, snakeskin belt with a silver buckle, dark green pants with a scale pattern running across its surface, and tall, brown boots with 2 golden buckled straps at the top. Okay, I think we're ready now, Ku said. Same, Emiya said. Good. Right now, Da Vinci should be done setting up the scenario for the photo shoot, so we should hurry, Arthur said. Soon, Shirou, Ku, Arthur, Gilgamesh, and Emiya then headed towards the stage of the theater where they were supposed to do their photo shoot. As they arrived, they saw Da Vinci, who was holding a camera in her hands and 5 thrones. Each of them was in different colors and have different details. The first throne was in golden, the second throne was in white with blue details, the third throne was in red and white, the fourth throne was in blue with white details, and the last throne was in black with red details. It was clear which throne belonged to who. Wow, those thrones over there clearly show which one is whose. Shirou thought. Humph. These thrones don't look so great as the one I own, Gilgamesh arrogantly said. Ku let out a sigh. Will this guy ever shut up? He whispered to Emiya. Sadly, no. He's already drowned himself in his arrogance, Emiya replied. Anyways, let me tell you which throne all of you are going to sit on. Shirou's sitting in the middle throne, Arthur is sitting on the left throne, Gilgamesh is sitting on the far left throne, Ku is sitting on the right throne, and Emiya is sitting on the far right throne. Okay? Now let the photo shoot begin. Soon, everyone got onto the thrones and sat in various positions. Gilgamesh sat on his throne arrogantly with a smile on his face as usual. Arthur sat on throne while holding his sword in his hands like how a knight does. Shirou sat on his throne while holding his katana with one of his hands. Ku sat on his throne while holding his spear on his shoulder with a smile on his face. And Emiya sat on his throne with a bored expression on his face. Alright. Looking good there. Now just sit still in the poses that all of you are doing while I take the photos now. Da Vinci said as she began to take the photos. After a few minutes of taking the photos of the guys in many different angles, she was done. Okay. Done with the photos now. With that said, we're done with the event for today. Thank you everybody. Humph, Gilgamesh said while Emiya didn't say anything. So that's what sitting on a throne feels like, doesn't feel different from sitting on a chair, Ku said. Arthur let out a chuckle after hearing Ku's words. In a way, that is true, he said. Yeah. Speaking of which kid, you looked great in that outfit of yours, Ku said to Shirou. Really? Shirou asked. Yeah. That outfit of yours matches you perfectly. In fact, I think you have better taste in clothing, unlike the king of heroes over there, Ku said with a sly grin. At that moment, Gilgamesh got mad. What did you say, you dog? He yelled. You heard me, the kid's got better taste in clothing than you. I mean, come on. Has anyone seen your casual clothes? It looks like a mess. And I mean literally. No wonder why you always wear that golden armor of yours. Your sense of clothing sucks. At that moment, Gilgamesh's anger reached its peak. Damn you dog. Soon, Gilgamesh and Ku started to fight each other while everyone else just watched. Shirou let out a small sigh. So, this is what happens every year, Da Vinci? The event, yes. But the fight, no. And tell me, how does it feel? Are you okay with this event? Well, if it helps Master and Chaldea, I don't mind, but... But what? Next time, don't pair me up with Gilgamesh. I thought this was going to be a disaster, because of the matchup. Well, until the end that is. Da Vinci let out a sigh. Sadly, I can't control the ballots, so that is up to Lady Luck. Figures. Soon, the photos of the Chaldea boys collection were released into Chaldea, and all the female staff loved them. especially Arturia and her counterparts, Ishtar and her counterparts, Parvati, Bibi and her sisters, Ilya and her counterparts, Miyu, Astria, Nero and her counterparts, Jean Dark Altar, although she didn't want to admit it, Okita and her counterpart, Musashi, and the Knights of the Round. Because they all liked the photo of Shirou on a throne of himself.